The real reason you are not progressing in meditation. By the end of this video, I am going to give you a new way to see meditation that will make it impossible for you to ever fail at meditation again. Most people spend years fighting their own mind, waiting for a peace that never seems to arrive. They think they are broken because they can't stay quiet. But today I am going to show you why the parts of meditation you've been rejecting are actually the most valuable parts of the practice. I'm going to show you how to become the best meditator you've ever wanted to be, not by changing your mind, but by changing how you meet it. Most people picture meditation like a photograph, still body, straight back, a mind that's totally blissfully quiet. We look at that image and think, that is the goal. But a snapshot is not the whole movie. If you're only chasing that one peaceful frame, you're missing the entire practice. Let's look at how this actually works. You sit down, you pick an anchor, maybe you follow the natural rhythm of your breath. The moment your attention settles on your breath, you're meditating right there. Not 10 minutes from now when you feel zen, right now. But then the mind does what it was built to do. It pulls you away. It starts hunting for the past or building a future. It starts a fight you already finished years ago. Suddenly, your peace feels like a crowded train station. And right here is where most people quit. They think, I'm doing this wrong. But a busy mind is not a broken one. It's just a mind doing its job. Then awareness wakes up. You suddenly realize, oh, I'm thinking. That moment of noticing, that is not a failure. It is the most important part of the process. You cannot return if you have never left. That moment you realize you're lost is the moment you're found. But this is where we usually turn meditation into a struggle. We try to muscle the mind into submission. But meditation does not need a fight. You just come back. Not with force, a casual return. Like setting a glass of water down on a table. The mind can keep talking in the background. Let it. Your only job is the returning. Focusing is meditation. Wondering is meditation. Noticing the wondering is meditation. And coming back, that is meditation too. Here is the clarity I promised you. The best meditator in the world is not the person with the silent mind. It's the person who notices they are lost and doesn't get angry about it. Every time you notice a thought and gently bring your attention back, you are not restarting, you're doing the practice. You are building the muscle of awareness. Every wonder is an opportunity. Every return is a win. So, next time you sit, stop trying to get somewhere else. Stop waiting for the quiet. If you are aware, if you notice, if you return, you are already there. You are not becoming a meditator. You are one. Every phase, every time. That is the practice. If this insight clarified meditation for you, stay with Finding Meditation. And until next time, keep meditating.